Welcome to lesson 8.5, partitioning line segments. I know what you're thinking, like, ooh, that's crazy. We're going to partition something. I don't even know what that word means. This is going to be, whoa. But the truth of the matter is that partition just means to cut into parts, all right? And so what we're doing today is really we're just taking line segments and we're going to cut them into equal parts. For example, just giving you a random, like, real-life example here. You don't have to write this down. Imagine you had a piece of wood and someone said, hey, can you cut that into 5 equal parts? Well, you'd be like, yeah, no problem. You'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you just cut your piece of wood into 5 equal parts. Nice and simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? That's all we're going to be doing, but instead of pieces of wood, we're going to do it line segments. Yeah, no bigs. So we're just going to look at 2 examples today. We're going to start with this one. Make sure you write down all the different steps, and you'll be good to go. All right, let's get into it. So the endpoints of line ABC are -2, -7, and C is -2, 8. Let's start by just drawing that, okay? We're going to draw that line. So we have -2, -7, that's our A. Our C is -2, 8, that's our C. So this line AC is drawn as such, okay? We want to determine the coordinates of point B, which is going to be somewhere on this line, so that AB to BC, those parts of the line, has a ratio of 2 to 3. All right, you might remember this, but this is actually a ratio. So we want to have a ratio of 2 parts to 3 parts. That's it. So really all we're doing is trying to figure out where this point B goes on the line so that it's split equally into 2 parts into 3 parts. And I'll show you how to do it, all right? The first thing you do is you draw your line, okay? And we've already done that. We're cool. So we draw line. Sweet. Step 2. Now, if your ratio is 2 parts to 3 parts, all you do is you add these up. So 2 plus 3 is 5. That means there's 5 total parts that we're going to cut this line into, all right? We're cutting this into 5 parts. So step 2 is add ratio. And in this case, it's 2 to 3. So 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. So that's 5 is how many parts we're going to cut our line segment into. We're going to cut line segment into. Now, just like if I said, hey, we'll go back to the piece of wood. If I said cut this into 5 parts, you would want to measure how long it is first to cut it up, right? So if the whole piece of wood was 15, you'd want to measure that it was 15 inches before cutting up to 5 parts, right? So you take your 15, you divide into 5 parts, you know each part has to be 3 inches, right? This would be 3 inches, this would be 3 inches, that would be 3 inches, that would be, right. So the same idea is here. We got to see how long this line is, or so we have to count how many units this line has before we cut it up into 5 parts. So we're just going to count it out. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this has 15 units. It's 15 units long. All right, so step 3 is I don't like changing colors, geez. Step 3 is to count length of line segment. So this is 15 units long, so we're going to take that 15 and divide it into 5 parts, and that means each part is 3 units. Okay, so we're going to go 3 units for each part, and we're going to put a point there. So check it out. So step 4, if you were paying attention here, is divide length by ratio. So just go over the steps. We drew our line. We added our ratio to tell us how many parts there were. There was 5 in this one. Since we counted how long our line was, which was 15 units, divided it by how many parts we have. We want to split into 5 equal parts. That means each part is 3 units. So now we just count and see to cut it up. So watch, we're going to cut up this line by counting. So we count 1, 2, 3. We're going to put a point there. 1, 2, 3. We're going to put a point there. We're going to put 1, 2, 3. We put a point there. 1, 2, 3. We put a point there. and 1, 2, 3. All right, and if you see here now, we actually have cut this line into 5 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 parts. Okay, your line now is split up equally into 5 parts. Beautiful. Now the final step is to look at your ratio and see where you want to put your final point B, right? Because we're trying to figure out where B goes, so it splits it into 2 parts to 3 parts. So AB to BC is 2 to 3. So AB has 2, BC has 3. So AB is going to have 2 parts, which is, if you look here, follow along, AB is going to be right here. That's 2 parts, 1, 2. So point B goes right over here. And if you look on the other side of this, that means BC has 3 parts, 1, 2, 3. So we've done it perfectly. So point B, we can write our final answer is at, well, let's see, that is -1, no, -2, -1. Boom, bing, bang, boom. All right? And that's how it's done. Now that's a pretty straightforward question because the line was straight. Let's see what happens if we don't have such an easy line to work with, okay? We're going to try this one more time. All right. All right, for a second example, the endpoints of x, y are -4, 5, and y is 8, -5. Determine the coordinates of point Z if we want a ratio of xz to zy of 1 to 3. So let's do our steps over again. So step 1, remember, is just to draw the line. Draw our line. So it's at -4, 5. That's where x goes. And y is at 8, -5. 8, -5 is right here. So that's y. All right. Now, I suggest getting a ruler to draw this line because it's really important that you're super accurate on this. So I'm even taking out a ruler, or at least doing my best to. I'm going to draw a line. Not bad, right? Not bad. Cool. So you draw your line. That's step 1. Now, step 2 is to figure out how many parts are you cutting this guy up into. So we're going to cut this up into 1 part to 3 parts, so we have a total of 4 parts. So step 2 is add ratio, add the ratio, 1 plus 3, and so that means we're cutting the line into 4 parts. Cutting line into 4 equal parts, okay? So now, to cut it up into 4 equal parts, you might remember, we have to figure out how long this line is. So we're going to count length of line. And instead of going straight, like kind of diagonally, we're just going to go straight down and straight over. So we're going to count straight down first. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 down. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 over. So we go 10 down and 12 over. Down, 12 right. All right? Now 4, remember we take these numbers and we're going to divide it by the amount that we're going to, by how many parts we're cutting into. So we're going to divide our lengths. So divide lengths. So 10 is going to be divided into 4 parts, and 12 gets divided into 4 parts. So 10 divided by 4 is 2.5, and yes, we're okay with decimals are okay okay? They're okay, calm down. We're going to deal with it. And 12 divided by 4 is equal to 3. And so what that means is to cut this line into 4 parts, which is what we're trying to do, you're going to count down 2.5 and then 3 to the right, all right? So watch me, okay? We got to be real careful here, but we can do it. So we're going to go down 2.5. So that means you go down 1, 2, and then we go halfway, all right? And then we count over 3. So 1, 2, 3. So we have our first point. And now we're going to do it again. We're going to go down 2.5. So that's half already, right? Because we're halfway. So half, 1, 2. So that's 2.5. And then we're going to go over 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Down 2.5. 1, 2, and we're being super careful, so that's 2.5, and then over 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, and then down 2.5, that's a half right there, 1, 2, and then over 3, 1, 2, 3. So we've got, when we've done this, we've now cut this into 4 equal parts, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, just like we needed. Well, now our goal is this. We have to figure out where point Z is. That was the whole thing that we're doing, so that we cut this line into 1 part to 3 parts, okay? So XZ has 1 part, ZY has 3 of the parts. So we start at X, and we're gonna go 1 part over, and that is where our point Z is. And if you go over here, you'll see that ZY, therefore, has 3 parts. So XZ, 1 part, ZY, 3 parts. We've done it perfectly. And now we just have to write our point down. So Z, if we were going to cut this up, would be at, and look at this very carefully, the X coordinate is at -1, and the Y coordinate is right here in the middle at 2.5. And that would be our answer. And yes, you can have decimals. Decimals are archaic. Calm down. And that is the art. All right, guys, you're done with level 8. You have done it. You're almost in the clear with your geometry education. What I think you should do is go take a nap. You need some rest. Go on, nap, because sleep is the key to success. Meow.